Starting with number 1 is the Trenchy RV from Banana Bread 1 on printables. I wanted to start off with this one because this is a classic example of staying true to the look of the original while also taking it in a completely different direction. I'm always surprised when someone is able to tack on a few shapes and turn this thing into a completely different model. And if you're confused what the hell is going on here, hi, I'm CJ. I 3D print cars, and I created this truck here, only to release it into the public domain, so anybody can design and 3D print their own variation. And since the last episode, we've received even more entries, so I'm here to review them. But not everybody has the means to redesign and 3D print their own model, which is why I promised I'd be taking suggestions from the comments. And the first suggestion was a flatbed. Now, the original can hold a fair bit of luggage, but there is a limit, given that the arches for the wheels and the back door are bolted shut. So I just got rid of them, opting for raising the floor of the truck bed, as well as tapering in the walls. I did this in order to give the wheel arches enough room without cutting into the truck bed. And I think it worked amazingly. But it did leave me with a hole, because what would I even fill this with? Lego. So I built my first prototype, just mounting some stud shapes to the floor of the flatbed. Now obviously this wasn't going to work the first time, because I'm printing a perfectly horizontal cylinder. Oh. It just worked first try. But I had to test this thing, because if it doesn't fit with Lego, then it's just a useless design. So I strapped it with a passenger, and would you look at that? But wait, because that's not the only part that's Lego. Amazing. Now there was something I desperately wanted to design, and it was also the most requested comment across my last video. And that, of course, was to create a trailer for the Trenchy. But this video isn't just about my redesigns, it's about viewer-submitted models, which is where I was delighted to find that somebody had already designed a trailer custom-fitted for the Trenchy. And when I started putting this video together, I got another person who had modeled their own Trenchy trailer. And to make sure I didn't spoil things for myself, I chose not to look at these viewer submissions until I had created a Trenchy trailer myself. So I started making something with the intent to stack another truck on the back, which meant it had to be wider and longer than the Trenchy itself. I opted for one axle for the wheels and this lip towards the rear to make sure nothing would slide off the back. But most fundamental to this design was the hitch, which I really wanted to be able to install on just about anything. But if I was going to attach this to something like the John Deere convertible sports car, and yes, that is a video I made, I was going to have to think of a solution that didn't require a custom modification for each car, which is when I settled on magnets, specifically these tiny neodymium 2x4mm cylindrical magnets. So I could take any model I have, carve out a 5x2mm hole in the slicer, and voila, I have a magnetized trailer for any vehicle, including the Benchy. Now let's check out the competition, because as I began to dig into all three of our designs, I realized we picked completely different trade-offs between each model. So the first trailer is from It's Tech 2, and this trailer is specifically designed to house the original Benchy. And what's magnificent about this is that it requires zero modification of the Trenchy truck, which means I can just clip this onto an existing Trenchy and it fits perfectly. I adore this trailer because it looks so elegant and it does one job just perfectly. The next is this trailer from Silly Fox, who made a print-in-place trailer, just like the Trenchy. And what's neat about this is that they also included a Trenchy mod that lets you clip the trailer into the back of the truck. It's also wide enough to house a vehicle without the wheel arches interfering with the truck bed. And I love the detail of adding this corrugated flooring too. It just adds another bit of texture and character to the trailer. And then lastly, there's mine, which has a magnet fitted in the back. It's print-in-place, and it fits any other vehicle of my choosing. And like I said before, what's cool about these three is that there's no single solution for a trailer like this. The boat trailer needs some assembly, but no extra modification to the truck. This one prints and assembles in one go, and works like a conventional trailer. But it does require a new truck. And mine works with any vehicle. It's discreet, but the magnet system just isn't quite as tough as the other two. Tell me in the comments if there's any other differences you've noticed. But next on the list is a viewer suggestion, that being a crew cab, which should be straightforward, because I can just repeat the panel from the door, and there we go. We've gone from a 2-seater to a 5-seater. Let's do another viewer suggestion, but this time I'll make a dump truck. I can take the flatbed design once again, then I can add this gymongous bucket on the back, give it a hinge, and now it's even more practical than the original. I love it. Anyways, slight detour, because I wanted to express my thanks for those of you who have left really nice comments and ratings on my download pages. And just know that these are very much appreciated. And if you sent me a private message on certain platforms, I haven't actually reached a high enough account level to reply. But nonetheless, I'm very grateful. And if you like this video so far, remember to subscribe to stay up to date on future videos. Another viewer-submitted model was this 6x6 Trenchy by Loris H. And you can see that they extended the truck bed to facilitate all 6 wheels. And this is actually enough size to fit a benchy. Pretty cool. However, this is where I ran into some opposition. I was tipped off to a model that was uploaded. A model named the Classic Trenchy. It marks itself as untested because apparently the creator does not have a 3D printer. And upon taking a closer look, it said, the original was fairly ugly and way too complex. Okay, jeez man. So I made it look cooler and simplified it. Oh dear lord. Oh, and it still has the flag hole. Well, thank goodness for that. So I downloaded this new model and threw it into the slicer. What? Okay, so I needed to clean up some of the mesh in Blender first, but then I got it running. So as this model was printing, it became obvious to me that there were still a couple small issues. Like the sides of the car don't exactly line up with each other, and the wheels flare out perfectly horizontally mid-print. But I eventually got to the end of the print job, and it works? Now, it doesn't slide along like a duckling on ice, but you get that it's still technically functional. Now, my criticisms are merely technical because I think this design looks very compelling. And all I'll say is that the wheels would work a little easier if there was a gradual transition from thick to thin. But I'll give it props because at least it wasn't total garbage. So congrats. Next on the list is an entry from the creator of the very first ever Trenchy derivative, Jay McFerrin, who in all of his wisdom has blessed us with yet another wheel mod. And just like my trailer, it uses magnets. Let me show you. I saw a couple people suggest a truck mod like this, and this is what you might call a dually, which is where truck wheels are doubled up to get more traction out of the road. And I think this was an amazing job. And once again, you've outdone yourself. Now, if you have any ideas for the Trenchy, leave a comment below. And if you want to see what other Trenchy mods are out there, click this video on the right. But if you want to see why I made the Trenchy in the first place, click the video on the left. And thanks for 3,600 subs.